Okay, so now to continue going over Chaos Space Marine allies. So this is part 2. We've gone over HQs and troops. So missed that, go ahead and talk about and go back to part 1. So I'm going to go over to elites, because again you only get one elite slot. And here is something where you can really do something to match the army. And get those melta guns I was talking about in part 1. And I think, especially if I'm going to be running Nurgle, I think I'm going to be running Plague Marines. So if you're going to be running Nurgles, Plague Marines are really good. Plague Marines are they're pretty cheap. You probably want to run 7 just because they're Nurgle and Plague Marines. How much is that? 20. That'd be, and then you probably want to give them a couple melta guns. So a little less. So less than 200 points will get you 7 Plague Marines with 2 melta guns. And that is a great unit. It has Fearless, it has Feel No Pain, they are Toughness 5. So they're going to add a lot of survivability and give you both the melta guns and the Fearless, which is what you want to complement your Ork army. So I think Plague Marines with 2 melta guns is a great thing to add into your Nurgle allies. But this is not the only one. Khorne Berserkers I probably wouldn't get to because you've got Orks. I mean, Khorne Berserkers are basically Orks. Cost a lot more points. So I would probably skip Khorne Berserkers. Thousand Suns, if you want to go with a theme army, I mean, they do have that AP3 bolters. They do have a sorcerer in there as well, the aspiring sorcerer. So you have some psychics, a psychic die in there too. So and they're fearless. So they also give you that, and they have a 4-up invul save. These guys I know have an invul save. So Thousand Suns could really add a lot of a support unit, but they're pretty expensive. For a few more points, you can get the 7 Plague Marines with 2 meltas. Then you could have just 7 or 6,000 Suns. So I'd probably go with the Plague Marines. They don't have the invul save, but they do have Feel No Pain and Toughness 5. So you're going to take Feel No Pain against a lot of things. So that's what I would do, Thousand Suns. Now, Noise Marines. Noise Marines are the other good thing you could take as an elite choice. And the reason why you want to take Noise Marines, of course, is the ignore cover. They do kind of spendy if you want to go that, because you would have to take, let's see. Actually, they're not that expensive. They're still fearless, so that's nice. That's really nice that they're still fearless. So you can give them the ignore cover bolter for 3 points per model. And you can also give one model a Blastmaster. And Blastmaster is probably what you really want. So if you want to go with just a simple unit, you take 5 Marines with a Blastmaster, and that's the same price as 5 buggies. And that gives you a 48-inch Strength 8 AP3 Ignore Cover Small Blast. It may not seem like a lot, but it can really help at just the right time. AP3 Ignore Cover is so good. You can get those Marines hiding behind the Aegis. You get those stupid warp spiders jumping all over the place. Yeah, the Blastmaster is really good. So if you're going to take Noise Marines, you can go with the Blastmaster, or I would go with the Ignore Cover Bolters instead. I probably wouldn't take both because they're kind of in different roles. The Blastmaster is a sit back and shoot weapon because of its range, and the other ones are shorter range and Ignore Cover, so they would definitely be more useful to advance and deal with those softer targets that are hiding in cover. And you get 20 points per model by the time you buy the Sonic Blasters. So that's I think the these two options are your best options if to fill up the elite slot if you want to take one. These guys from the Meltagons and these guys for the ignore cover. So two great options in the elite slots. And of course rhinos. Is a great option. And let me tell you why rhinos are a great option. If I can find the vehicle list. Page 68. Let's see. Just a second here while I find this. And here's why you'd want to consider the rhino, and that is the dirge caster. And I think this is an awesome thing to go with your orc army. So a rhino plus dirge caster for your units. And the dirge caster basically says enemy units within 6 inches of one or more vehicles with a dirge caster cannot fire Overwatch. So if this is probably going to make it a even higher target than a rhino already is, but B, if you can hide this guy up and get him into the right spot and prevent that Overwatch against your orcs, my goodness. Oh, that's so amazing. And especially for the price, it's 5 points for that upgrade. 5 points. I mean, it's probably not going to be all that useful because rhinos are going to get blown up and you only have maybe one of them, maybe two. So it's going to be a pretty easy target. But if you can keep it hidden, keep it out of line of sight, and get up there and use that dirge caster at the right spot, it could be huge. So I would definitely take one of these units with the rhino with the dirge caster. And I think that's a great use for your elite slots. So now let's go into fast attack. I've already talked greatly about the chaos spawn with varying degrees of accuracy. But of course, there's a lot of good things in fast attack. Probably wouldn't take bikes. Raptors are not a bad choice. What do you get for that? Because they are fearless and they are demons. I'm pretty sure the raptors are demons, right? Oh, I thought the raptors were demons. Anyway. Doesn't say demon on here either. Weird. But they are but they're not fearless, so yeah. Raptor's an okay choice. They're pretty cheap though, so for a nice jump unit they can drop in. Oh, it's the warp talons that are demons. Gotcha. Warp talons are a lot more expensive, and they come with lightning claws. They're demons, so they have that invul save, and they're fearless. But of course, the main thing that you'd probably want to take in fast attack, if you're not taking the spawn, is going to be Eldrick. Sure got nerfed a little bit, of course with the Bell Flamer. No reason to take the auto cannon, because you're going to take an auto cannon, probably just take a Daka Jet anyway. But the Heldrake with the Bell Flamer is a great complement to your Orc army. It's hard to bring down. It's got that AP3 Torrent Flamer. Sure, it's not, it's been nerfed a little bit to reasonable power, but it's still really good. And it's even better complement to your Orc army. So, if you're a Demon Prince, Unit Occultist, and a Heldrake with a Bell Flamer is a really, really amazingly fast complement to your Orc army, and will be great. So as far as heavy support, there's really not a whole lot of heavy support I would consider for the points to complement an Orc army. Havocs don't give you anything that you don't already have, unless you really want to take las cannons. Unless, of course, you want to take Havocs with all Meltagons. That's one thing that they can do that Devastators cannot do, and just take 4 Meltas. And a Rhino, of course. Really? Up to 4 Havocs when we replace their bolt gun with a Meltagun. So, this, if you're going to take a fast attack, and you're talking about 150 points or so for this unit here. And I give you 4 mobile meltaguns, which is not a bad idea. So if you're going to take Havocs, I wouldn't take any heavy weapons, but I would give them 4 meltas. And the other option, probably the best option, of course, is Oblitz with Nurgle. And that'll give you las cannons, multi-meltas, and their demons, so they have that invul save. So these are Nurgle Oblitz, especially, obviously, see, I've seen say Nurgle a lot, because Nurgle is still really good. So that's why people play Nurgle. And so adding a Nurgle-themed list with the Chaos Lord, some Nurgle Cultists, some Nurgle Spawn, and some Nurgle Oblitz just gives you a lot of things that you don't have in the Orc army. A lot of things. And, you know, that's probably about the only ones I would consider for fast attack. I mean, you could take a Land Raider if you really wanted to. Put your Plague Marines in, and maybe a Foot Chaos Lord. But that would just be for fun. I wouldn't recommend that in any sort of competitive list. So that's what I think you should get with Chaos Space Marine allies to go with your Orc army. So let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you guys later.